second lecture on normalization. In the previous lecture, we had seen what functional dependencies are and how the functional dependencies can be deduced from a given set of functional dependencies. All the given functional dependencies and the specified functional dependencies together are called the closure of the functional dependencies. We had also seen that how we can find the closure of the functional dependencies using the closure of the attributes on the left hand side of a functional dependency. Now, let us see the usage of attribute set closure. In the last lecture, we said that if x to y is a functional dependency where x can be a single attribute or a combination of attributes and y can be a single attribute or a combination of attributes, then the closure of the attribute set x is all the attributes that are determined by or are dependent upon x. And we had used the attribute set closure to determine the closure of the functional dependency set, that is F plus. Two another applications of the attribute set closure are to see whether a attribute set X is a super key or a candidate key of the given relation. That means, if I am given x to y as a functional dependency, then we can use the attribute set closure to determine if x is a super key of the given relation or not, and also we can use the attribute set closure to determine if any ft x to y other than the given ft holds on the relation R. So, let us look at all these three again. Now, we have already done one example to find the closure of the functional dependencies in our previous lecture. We will take up one more example. Given the schema E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N. Now, when I am writing E, F, G, H, I, or I am writing a schema as R consisting of A, B, C, D, E, etc., this means we are giving generic names to the attributes. So, basically over here E, F, G and so on are attributes, and we will use this representation most of the times. The given functional dependencies, they are E, F to G, E, F to G, F to I, J, E, H to K, L, K to M and L to M. Now, to find the closure F plus of the given set of functional dependencies, what we will do is we will take up each functional dependency and determine the closure of the attributes on the left hand side. So, E F ka closure is E F, because E F determines E F. Then we have that E F determines G. So, we get this as E F G. Now, we have F determines I J. So, E F G was already there. From F determines I J, we get E F G I J. So, we say that E F determines G I J, because E F to E F is a trivial functional dependency. We can just leave it, and we get E F determines G I J. Now, let us see the second functional dependency which is given is F to I J. So, the closure of the left hand side F is F I J, from where F to I J, and we have F determines F I J, which implies that F determines I J, which is 2. The third functional dependency that is given to us is E H determines K L. So, we will find the closure of E H. We will have E H determines E H, K L from E H to K L. Then we have K determines M, we get the M here, and L determines N, we get the N here. So, E H determines K L M N, which is the third. K determines M, ठीक है. So we get k determines m because we cannot derive anything from here from the given set of functional dependencies. This is 4. Then we have L determines n. We will find the closure of L, which is going to be L n, or L determines n. This is 5. So F plus will be EF determines Gij, F determines Ij, EH determines KLMN, K determines M, and L determines N. So this is how we can use the attribute set closure repeatedly to find the closure of a set of functional dependencies. Now the second usage we said was whether the attribute set X is a super key or a candidate key. Let us see how we can do this. For the attribute set X in X to Y in the given set of functional dependencies, determine X plus using all the functional dependencies that are given. If X plus is equal to R, that is, it contains all the attributes in the given relation, then we say that X is a super key of R, and we already know that a minimal super key is a candidate key. Okay. So let us see over here, the given set of functional dependencies are A to BC, CD to E, B to D, and E to A. So for each functional dependency, we will determine the closure of the left hand side attribute. We already know how to do this. So when we determine the closure of A, we actually get ABC from where A determines BC, then we get ABCD from where B determines D, and so and E we get why, because CD determines E. So we have the closure of A is ABCDE, which is equal to R, and hence we say that A is a super key of R. Similarly, taking the next functional dependency CD to E, we will determine the closure of CD, and when we see the closure of CD, again we see the closure of CD is equal to R, hence we say CD is a super key. Then we will take up the closure of B. The closure of B will only be BD, which is not equal to R, hence B is not a super key. Let us look at the closure of E. Closure of E is AE. Why? It is E, then E determines A determines BC, then your B determines D. So we get over here that E ka closure is again ABCDE, hence E is the super key, and all these three super keys, they are also the candidate keys. So this is how we can find the super key. Let us take up this example for the relation schema employee, which is given EID, ename, ECT, and EState, and the set of functional dependencies given over here. Find the super keys and the candidate keys. So let us try. What we will do is EID closure is equal to EID comma ename. Why? Because EID determines ename, EID determines ECT, EID determines EState, which is equal to the given relation, which is employee, and hence we say that EID is a key of the relation. Next is ECT, the closure of ECT closure is equal to ECT and EState, which is not equal to employee, hence this is not a key. The only key is EID over here. So this is how we can find the key from the attribute set closure. Now let us take up use of attribute set closure to determine if X to Y holds on R, where X to Y is any FD which is not given in the given set of FDs. So In this case, we will determine the closure of X, and then if Y is a subset of the closure of X, then we will say that X to Y holds. Given R and the set of functional dependencies over here, we have to determine if D holds. So, what we will do is we will determine the closure of E. Here we have the closure of E as E. From E to A we get A E, then from A to B C we get A B C E, and from B to D we get A B C D E. Now, this it contains D, the closure of E contains D over here. So, the RHS it is there in E ka closure, and hence we say that the F holds in the given schema. Let us take up another example. Determine the closure of the attribute set ACDF given the set of functional dependencies on the relation R. So, we need to find the closure of ACDF is equal to obviously ACDF. Then we have over here A determines B. So, this is equal to A, B, C, D and F, and A, B, C, D determines E. So, we have A, B, C, D, E, F. E, F determines G. So, this is A, B, C, D, E, F, G. This is the closure of ACDF. Now, the closure of ACDF, it contains G over here. Hence, we say that ACDF to G holds, right. Now, we will look at extraneous attributes on the left hand side of a FT. We have already said that the left hand side as well as the right hand side of the functional dependencies, they can be single or more than one attribute. So, consider the functional dependency X to Y holding on a relation schema R, and attribute A in X is said to be extraneous if on removal of the attribute A, the functional dependency still holds, then obviously A is redundant or extraneous. For example, here we have the functional dependencies SSN name to address and SSN to address. So, if we remove the attribute name from this from the left hand side of this functional dependency, we have the functional dependency SSN to address, which is already there. So, we can say that in the functional dependency SSN name to address, the attribute name is extraneous. Now, to test if the attribute is extraneous, what we do is consider the set of functional dependencies and the functional dependency X to Y in F. Now, we want to see that in X to Y, if any attribute is extraneous on the left hand side. So, to test that we do compute X minus A ka closure. The closure of X minus A, that is remove that attribute from A and then find the closure given the dependencies that are given, and if X minus A closure still contains Y, then we say A is extraneous, simply meaning that if A is removed, the functional dependency still exists, then we say that the attribute A is extraneous. Let us take up this example. We have the functional dependencies A to B, AB to C and D to AC E. Now, let us see, obviously in A to B there cannot be any extraneous attribute on the left hand side, there is only a single attribute. In D to ACE there cannot be any extraneous attribute because there is only a single attribute. We need to check for extraneous attribute in AB to C. Let us do that. To check for B, to check for B in AB to C, that if B is extraneous, we will say X is what? AB. AB minus B closure will be obviously closure of A, which will be ABC. Why? Because when we say this, so A determines B, so we get A closure is equal to A, which is equal to AB, and AB determines C, which is equal to ABC, which contains C, which is the right hand side, and hence we say B is extraneous in the left hand side of AB to C, right. Now, to check for A, we do a similar thing. X minus A ka closure is B ka closure, which is B, and that is it. It does not contain C, and hence we say A is not extraneous in the left hand side of the FD AB to C, right. Also, we can see it in another manner, or we can verify it, because if we augment, we are given A to B, if we augment A to B with A, we get A to AB augmenting on both sides, and AA would obviously be A. From A to B and from A to AB and AB to C, we get A to C by transitivity. So, again we see that over here B is extraneous. Now, we can also have extraneous extraneous functional dependencies in a functional dependency set. That means, given a functional dependency set, there may be some functional dependencies which are redundant or extraneous, which means they can be derived from other functional dependencies. And how to see that? We will find the closure of f minus f, where we are looking for small f if it is a redundant functional dependency. A functional dependency f, small f, in f is said to be extraneous if its inclusion from f, that is the functional dependency set, does not affect the closure of f. The closure remains the same. Such FDs, they are logically implied by other FDs in the set, and they can be eliminated from the set without affecting the closure of the set. Let us look at an example that we have over here. Let us look at this example that we have over here. We are given the functional dependency set x to y, y to z, and x to z. So, we see we have x to y, y to z, and x to z. X to y, y to z. By transitivity, we can say x to z. So, this x to z can be derived from these two functional dependencies. So, we say in the given set of functional dependencies, x to z is extraneous and it can easily be removed. Next is the canonical form or the minimal form of a functional dependency set. The minimal or the canonical form of a functional dependency set is the set of functional dependencies where there is no redundancy. Where does the redundancy come from? Either they can be extraneous attributes on the left hand side, or there can be extraneous functional dependencies. So, we can say a canonical set or a canonical or minimal form of the functional dependency set will be that set of functional dependencies in which there are no extraneous attributes on the left hand side of the functional dependencies, and there are no extraneous functional dependencies. To define the canonical or minimal form given as FC of a functional dependency is the set of functional dependencies that satisfies the three conditions. First, in the canonical form, we write only one attribute on the right hand side. That means, we decompose the right hand side so that there is only one attribute in each functional dependency on the right hand side. Second, no functional dependency in FC has the extraneous attributes on the left hand side, and third, none of the FDs in FC are extraneous. So, if we can achieve these three conditions, then we get the minimal or the canonical form of a functional dependency set. Let us find the canonical cover for this functional dependency set. So, the first thing that we will do is to reduce the right hand side to single attributes. We will have AB to C, AB to D, AB to E, AB to F, D to C, C to B, E to F, and B to E. First, let us look at for extraneous attributes in these four functional dependencies. Removing B from here, we do not have any FD as A to C. So, we say that B is not extraneous. Removing A, we get B to C. Again, when we see B to C, we do not have B to C anywhere. So, again there is no extraneous attribute over here. In this case, removing A, we get B to D, we do not have B to D anywhere, and removing B, we have A to D, we do not have A to D in any of the FDs. So, again we say that there is no extraneous attribute. In AB to E, if we remove A, we still have B to E. That means A is extraneous over here, and we can just knock off this FD. AB to F, again there is no extraneous attribute. So, we are left with the FDs AB to C, AB to D, AB to F, so C to A, also C to A, then we have D to B, D to C, C to B, E to F, and B to E. Now, let's look at for the extraneous functional dependencies. Now, here we have D to C and C to B. So, by transitivity, this implies D to B, and we have D to B over here. We have D to B over here, hence D to B is a extraneous functional dependency. We can also knock out this functional dependencies. So, what we are left with, AB to C, AB to D, AB to F, D to C, C to B, E to F, and B to A, and C to A. This is the canonical form of the given set of functional dependencies. Now, there is sometimes we are not able to find the key directly from the given set of the functional dependencies. In this case, we can use a alternate algorithm where we compute for each attribute A in key. First, we set K as R, that is all the attributes. For each attribute, we calculate K minus A closure. If K minus A closure contains all the attributes, then we say that K minus A is the super key. Let us take up this example. We have the FDs A to B and C to D. So, what we will do is, first we will find the closure of, we will do K is equal to R, we will find the closure of K minus A, that is B, C, D, E. We will find the closure of this, and the closure of B, C, D, E is B, C, D, E itself, which is not equal to R, hence this is not the key. Next, we will find the closure of, we will eliminate B, A, C, D, E, the closure of A, C, D, E, which will be equal to again A, C, D, E, B, which is equal to R. So, we will say that A, C, D, E is a key. Next, we will find the closure of A, B, D, E. The closure of A, B, D, E will be A, B, C, C to D, D, E, which is equal to R, and hence A, B, D, E is also a key. Next, we will find the closure of A, B, C, D. When we find the closure of A, B, C, D, this will be A, B, C, D, which is not equal to R. So, the keys that we have are B, super keys are B, C, D, E, and the super keys are A, C, D, E and A, B, D, E, and the minimal super key over here will be A, D, E. A, D, E will be the minimal super key, right. Now, last topic is in today's lecture is the equivalence of functional dependency sets. Given the functional dependency sets FT1 and FT2 on the given relation R, if all the FDs in F1 can be derived from are present in all the FDs in F2, we say FT2 is a superset of FT1. Similarly, if all the FDs of F2 can be derived from FDs in FD1, then FD1 is a superset of FD2, and if both these above conditions they are true, then we say that the two sets of functional dependencies, they are equivalent. Quickly, let us take up an example. We are given FD1 as this and FD2 as this, and we need to find if they are equivalent. Checking whether all the FDs in FD1 are present in FD1, we see AB is directly present, we see BC is directly present, AB to D is not present in AB to D present in it, but it is not directly present in FD2. So, what we will do is we will find the closure of AB. The closure of AB is going to be AB, C, D, and it means that AB can functionally determine A, B, C and D. So, we say from here AB to D is true. So, that means these two, they are directly dependent in FD2, and the third FD is not directly dependent in FD2, right. Now, let us look at the second case, that is checking if all the FDs in FD2 are present in FD1. Again, AB to C and B to C, they are directly present. Let us check for A to C. So, to check for A to C, we will find the closure of A. The closure of A will be A, B and C. So, which means that A determines C. So, A to C is also present in the FD set FD1. Then let us look for A to D. The closure of, again we will find, will be A, right. It will be A, it will be B, that is from A to B, then B to C and A to D. So, that means A determines D. A to D is also present in the functional dependency set. So, we see that all the functional dependencies in FD1 are present in FD2, and all the functional dependencies in FD2 are present in FD1. Hence, FD1 and FD2, they are equivalent sets of functional dependencies. The references for the topics that we have studied are these two books. Thank you.